I'm Christy Hemingway, host of Ed Curation, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shannon Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology and instructional coach for my district.
And I'm her producer and husband, Fuzz Martin, just making sure this all adds up each and every week.
Oh, math's an easy one. There's all kinds of math puns.
There are. I was trying to add them all up, and there were multiples.
Oh my goodness.
Are you trying to divide
and conquer today's podcast episode? So it is episode 142, and we just have a quick one this week. We have a fun little math tool that I'm excited to share with everybody. There's been so many things going on this week. It's been sickness and craziness, and we're all back at it, and things are good, but we just got to catch up. It's all about catching up, man.
Yeah.
I'm also very excited because in just a couple weeks coming up, March 4th is Ed Camp.
I know you love your Ed Camp.
I'm so excited. So Ed Camp Elbrook, for all of you Wisconsin teachers, it's coming up March 4th. It's free. You can sign up on Eventbrite, and they don't ask me to do any of this. I just love to go to Ed Camp. So Ed Camp, I'm excited, and I've thrown some swag at the Elbrook.
Yeah, you've got some cute little swag bags.
Yeah, I got new little bags, little notebooks for anybody that goes. So
yeah,
yay! Anyway, so if you want to join me, I'll be there with a few of the staff from my school district too, which is kind of fun. So Ed Camp Elbrook, hooray, hooray! But anyway, so back to mathing. So the site that I found it's cool. It's an all-inclusive kind of tool website. And the goal of this, it's created through University of Cambridge, and it's called NRICH, but it's NRICH.
So it's like enrich without the E.
Without the E, yeah. The website itself is nrich.maths.org.
Okay.
Which I appreciate.
Because in Europe and in Australia, they call maths.
And I call it mathing. So,
And I call it hard. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. I love math.
You're a mathy guy.
I am.
So with our mathing and maths and math this week, this website is really cool. So what they have done, the University of Cambridge people, the NRICH project, has put together a collection of resources to support mathematical thinking. So even if you're not a math teacher and you just want to build some of these skills into your classroom, you can use this website. It's not just meant for math teachers and math lessons. It's for any teacher that wants to put more mathematical thinking into their classroom. So it's broken down, which I love too, how it's like primary students and secondary students in post-16. So those of you in the US, you'll notice that the ages are a little bit different than how we divide it up. Those of you that listen in other parts of the world, this is totally how you see things. So it is awesome either way. If you look at primary students, so that's ages 5 to 11. And if you click on that little orange button there, it gives you latest features, and then there's news, and then there's activities and games and thinking mathematically. So they have different categories, and you pick your topic that you want to look at and click on it, and it'll lead you away. So we're going to look at the latest feature, or the lower primary collection. And when you open that up, it's got these really cool different activities and ways to build number sense into your classroom. Being resilient with numbers. And there's an activities like you just keep clicking and it keeps leading to more activities and more ways of building this into your classroom. They have the shut box, and then there's a game, and there's dice, and it shows you how it works and how to build it into your classroom. And it gives you questions to prompt your students to explain their thinking and then how to play the game. And there's different activities that kind of go with each one. And it just walks you through each one. If there's any like supplies needed, if you need, like there's a triangle activity, it says inside triangles. You can use those dot grids. Sometimes they're used they kind of look like those pegboards. Sometimes we use them with rubber bands and things like that. I don't think we use those with rubber bands anymore in the middle school though, because that turns into rubber bands flying across the classroom. But a lot of times,
I was never one of those kids.
But they also have those little dots just on the pen, like pencil and paper, where you can draw triangles. Anyway, so it gives you the tools needed as well. If you need to print off this page if you don't have your own dot paper or your own dot things like that. So it does give you some of the supplies, or leads you in the way of what you're going to need for the activity. And then it also has related content. It will tell you consecutive numbers and rolling the dice and different activities that also kind of build on the same skills.
Mm-hmm.
And that walks you through. They have lower primary, they have upper primary. And then if you move.
Do they have middle primary? I was
No.
just kidding. I was being silly.
Because that's not how it's defined.
I know. It was a joke.
I know.
Gosh.
So, and then you can move up to, so they have latest features. They have the same thing in the secondary students. The activities and games are pretty cool. What they are is they're not all just games on the computer, but they have algebra activities and games, so equations and formulas, and gives you the stages. And from there, again, it's all broken down. It's really easy to understand. It will give you, the games are not computer games necessarily. They're going to be printables with directions and things that you can lay out in your classroom.
So really serving as a resource.
Correct. Some of them do have a video that then goes with, that kind of walks you through how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them do not, kind of just depends on the activity. But it's neat because it explains this is what it should look like. These are the questions you should ask. This helps your students thinking in how and why, and then explains the curriculum. I also appreciate that it is in pounds. So it kind of gives you some thinking and discussing how, if you are in the US, how numbers and money and things are different in other countries, which I always appreciate those discussions as well. And then also within these different categories, they have Be a Mathematician, which is another category. And it's articles on thinking mathematically and how to find that in your daily life, which I think is so huge, is making those connections with, this is what's going on in your life.
Right.
This is how it applies in the classroom, and making those connections. So exploring and noticing structure is one of their thinkings. And then finding that in the real world, and how many numbers can be expressed this way. And what does this look like here? And it's really neat. And each thing leads to more activities and thinking and ways to build this into your life. They have a whole number sense thing on calendar capers. So using a calendar in your daily life, and then how those numbers can play out. There's a lot of cool different activities. So that's just through primary students, secondary students. They also have post 16.
So in Europe, I guess that would be after high school, or
that's where they make the decision of which pathway they want to go to.
Okay.
And then from there, they have the same setup. So you can feature articles. They have how you can be a mathematician, resources, and a lot of this, the post 16 stuff, I started going through it. It's cosines, trigonometry, trig graphs. They have a whole thing. I'm kind of excited. I want to show it to somebody. I don't know. I did share this with a high school math teacher. I hope that she ends up doing this. But they have a whole lesson on the Loch Ness Monster and trigonometry.
Nice.
And so it goes through these following graphs are not monsters, but they help you with functions and periodic, and involve sines, cosines, and absolute values. It's fantastic. And the best part is the image of their Loch Ness Monster is exactly like the soup ladle that we have in our house.
Oh, yeah. We do have a Locky
We
soup.
have a Loch Ness soup label. Yeah. So anyway, so it's
Nessie, not
Nessie.
Locky.
Yes. And so again, they have mathematical thinking and support you can use across the curriculum, not just in your math class, and across the board in all ages, which is awesome. They also have a section for early years, so birth to 5.
Okay.
And easy ways to kind of build those activities into your life, just teaching kids while you're at home and things like that. And then they have resources specifically for teachers. So that's all lesson stuff. You can lay it out with your students. You can give them the websites and links to explore if you want to. They also have building curriculum and support, and news and recent solutions, and all kinds of great features for then primary and secondary teachers and curriculum-based things. So there's so many resources in this site, both interactive and printable, and they have professional development. And it's just this great resource to build mathematical thinking into your classroom, whether you're a math teacher or not. I thought it was kind of a fun find and was very excited. And I shared it with our math teachers and they were very sparkly about it. So I think that we have found a winner.
Winner.
When it comes to enriching our lives with maths or mathing.
All of the things. Do they in England, do they call it mathsings?
I'm guessing not.
No, I didn't think that was
what
it was either. But I thought it'd be fun to ask the question, There's
so
no
it's good
such
to ask
thing
questions.
yes, exactly.
Super important. But anywho, so I wanted to share that one out with everybody. I appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter @SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, you can visit smartnwi.com. If you'd like to support the show, please consider buying me a coffee or two. Visit buymeacoffee.com/smartnwi or visit smartnwi.com and click on that cute little purple coffee cup. Your donations help keep the show going. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed here on the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed in this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we sure hope they do.